welcome to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I made a kind of focal statement necklace from the January Bargain Bead Box. Everything that you see here came from the Bargain Bead Box, except for the findings like the jump rings and whatnot, but all the chain, the beads, everything came in it. So this video, I know it's it's going to be a decently long video because this was a kind of a beast of a necklace to put together. But if you'd like to see how I made this, stay tuned. All right. So in the video right now, you are coming from the finished product. So if it's changed much since this, then you know I do a lot of thinking on the fly. And I already finished this side, and I did attempt to film while I was completing this side. However, I went ahead and took that because I changed my mind approximately 406 times. So I waited until I got it all figured out, and I'm going to show it like this, and then I'm going to create this side because the plan that I have in my head, these two sides are going to be identical, and then the center one is going to be similar, just with this focal piece on it. As if that's not focal enough, but my mind says go big. So here we go. So for creating this side, I'm going to create exactly what I did over here. This string of beads, I believe they called it the flirty mix. They're very tiny rondelle shaped beads. So right here you can see I have two of the clear ones, and then two of the almost plum or deep purple colored ones. And then I had the glass center beads. Let me go ahead and get a few more of those out. Had that fall right in the center. And then two more of the deep purple. Get that on there. All right, and then two of the clear. Kind of clear, it's almost a white shade. All right, and I've connected all of these with a jump ring, and connected this one here with the jump ring, so it kind of, you wanted to have some movement on it, so I wanted to make sure that it fell kind of nicely. So I'll show you how I create loops at the end. So starting right off the bat, I just bend it, and then I want the loop to be a little bit small. So I take this, these are my round nose pliers, and I'm gonna just bend it back around. And then when I take that out, it's gonna have the beginning of a really nice loop. And then I take my cutters and I go up here into the loop a little bit. And then I take it and bend it back a little bit more. This is where I kind of just manipulate it until I get it the way that I like. And usually it doesn't take very much. I know I've seen on YouTube, there are several different videos on how to create loops. There's a bunch of different ways. There you go. I also have a one-step looper, and that works really well. So for this one, I go ahead and get my jump ring, I'm using both of my chain nose pliers. That way I can manipulate it, open it up. I go ahead and put it on this one towards the inside and hang it on there. And then take the jump ring, make sure I get it nice and tight when I close it up. All right, there you go. Okay, do that one more time. This is the one that has the pin that has the ball at the end. So I'm gonna get 2 clear ones. And I need some more of the deep purple. Got them right over here. I will do a video on how I organize my beads. I mean, if that's something you guys want to see, let me know. Put a comment down below. And I can share some tips that I've found that work for me. All right, so I've got the center one and right there, the crystal one, and 2 purple, and then 2 of the clear. And I call it clear. It's kind of white. It's opaque. It's not see-through, but all right. Create another one. Bend it. Then I hang on to it. And where you hang on to it, of course now this one's moving all over the place, is kind of the size that you want your loop to be. All right, so there we go. And then I cut it where I'm up into the loop a little bit. Like that. See it? And then manipulate it until it's the size and shape that I want. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to get one of my jump rings. This one's going to go on the outside. Make sure get it closed, nice and snug. All right. So now we need to create this. And you can see this one, I have a jump ring on the middle as well, because since this one is so long, if it was just one straight pin, it wouldn't have very much movement in it. So I need an open eye pin. I guess eye pins by definition are open. So I'm gonna get an eye pin, the one that's open on the other end, because I'm going to attach this one to it, and I'm going to have the spacer on the bottom, and then the long crystal spacer, the long crystal spacer, just like that. Okay, and then I create the loop the same way. All right, get it up in the circle. You have to find a way, if you're making loops, that works for you. I've tried other people's methods, and you know, I think it's outstanding that we all have our different ways of doing things. And I just find that this is the way that works best for me. All right. So now that I have this part of it, before I connect it up here, I'm going to go ahead and create this part at the bottom. And this has the ball pin. All right. It's kind of, sometimes when you get pins, they come wonky, so you just kind of straighten it out the best you can. They're pretty flexible. And the bead caps that came in the Bargain Bead Box, I used those. And this was the one in my video on the Bargain Bead Box, which I'll link it down below. I said this kind of looks like an animal print, which I think it does. All right, so we have the bead cap on top and bottom, adds a little flourish to it. And then I have the loop right on top. Gotta be careful when you cut sometimes, because those things go flying. And I try to make this pretty snug because I don't want the bead caps to be loose on it. I want it to be pretty snug right there. There you go. So then I'm going to get one of my jump rings. Open it. And I'm going to connect that to the bottom. Close that. Oop, that's I mean, I could still do that with my round nose pliers. Just a little easier with the chain nose. Get that nice and snug. So that's hanging off. All right, so let's get the next jump ring. Open that up. And we're going to connect it to this middle one. Make sure we get that on there. And then get it closed back nice and snug. All right, so now we have both sides completed. I think that looks awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and create these two for the bottom, for the center one here, because they're going to be identical, and then I'll create the center one with you on camera. So we'll jump ahead. All right, so here we go. We've got the outer two of the center completed. So now I'm going to show you how I want to do the center one in the very center, because I mean, it's going to be very similar, just a little different, because I want to use one of these, you know, kind of focals. So I'm going to take an eye pin, because just like this, it's going to have the different pieces hanging off of it. So I'm going to use a spacer, a long crystal, and a spacer. And right here, like I said, similar but different. So I'm going to, like I said, I create my own loops in a unique way. And it works for me. Cut them up in the loop a little bit. And then manipulate until you get it the way that you want. And usually it doesn't take very much. And you got your nice little loop. You could go back a little bit. There you go. Excellent. So now, I want to make sure that the top and bottom are facing the same way. So I'm going to hold this one across here and get the bottom one, and then just make it where my pliers are equal. That way their top and bottom are faced the same way. So, and then I'm going to create the ball at the bottom. I'm going to grab one of my ball pins, and again, they come a little wonky, so you just kind of have to straighten it out a little bit. All right, so we have the bead caps, bead cap. All right, create my loop. Bend it back. Cut it. And then, just like with the last one, I like with the loops with the beads and the bead caps, I want to get them really snug, because you don't want the bead caps to be kind of loose and flying around, because there is a lot of movement in this one. So you want the bead caps to kind of be secure in place. So it's going to hang like this. So I'm going to connect these pieces together and then connect them to the top. So I've got my jump rings up here. Connect the bead at the bottom. Don't know if I opened it wide enough. And I didn't. So let's open it a little bit more. Alrighty. So we're connecting these two. And nice and snug back together. So then I'm connecting this to that piece. So we have, just toss it around, you know. Connect those two. All right, so now that we have this, we connect the whole thing to the center of the piece. Make it nice and snug. And then, I believe that's got it. For, I mean, obviously not for the entire necklace, but for the focal piece of it. I like the way that came out. Okay. All right, so now we're going to work on the chain. So I'm going to have different beads and pieces throughout the chain as well, which, since I had this one on here, I knew I wanted to have the different pieces on here as well. So here we go. I think I'm going to create something like this for each one of these pieces in the chain. And then beyond that, keep the chain kind of simple. That way, I mean, obviously this is the attention grabber with this particular piece. So you don't want to, I wouldn't want a lot of busyness in the chain itself. So I'm going to create 2 lines of beads with these. And then, yeah, and then we'll see how it goes. All right. So we're going to create the two pieces. Well, we'll create one on camera and then I'll create one off camera. That'll be part of the chain. All right. So we're going to have another one of the, got an eye pen, bead cap, bead cap. We're going to create something similar that we have down here, that'll be along the side. So again, I'm creating a loop, bend it, and then bend it over. Then finagle. So again, you want it kind of snug when you've got the bead caps because you don't want them loose. There we go. Okay, we're going to create with another eye pen, spacer, crystal, spacer. Rings are all out of whack. All right, bend it, bring it back. All right, you want to make sure your circles are facing, your loops are facing the same direction. Okay, put that piece to it. And I think instead of having this long piece, we'll kind of shrink it for the chain part of it. All right, so we'll have one clear one. I keep calling it clear. Just say white, the white one. And, or it's kind of frosted, I guess. Then we need a deep purple one. Crystal. That would be clear. And then purple. And I don't currently see any of the white ones. There we go. All right. So it's just sort of a smaller version of it because again, I don't want the chain to be super busy. as this is busy enough. All right. Okay. So we've got all the pieces to it because we definitely want to add one of these. Okay. So we'll connect it with our jump rings. Get a few more of those out here. And here we go. The largest, kind of heaviest, will be at the bottom, connected to the metal piece. All right. Next jump ring. So we're going to connect this one to the bottom. All right. And then we will connect the whole thing to this. And for this, like I said, it's kind of the biggest to the smallest piece in size, weight, all of that. All right. So I'll go off camera and we will create, or I will create a second one, and that way we'll have one for each side. All right, there we go. So now we're going to work our chain. Okay. So we'll have, let's see, it's going to be kind of like this. Okay. So we've got our jump rings that we're going to use to connect it, and the lobster clasp that we're going to use to tie it all together in the back. So here we go. Jump ring. I'm going to add this to the whole thing at the end. So add the jump ring to the end of the chain. There we go. We'll add that to the end of our flourish. All right. And then we'll add the chain at the top of the flourish. Here we go. All right. we'll add the jump ring to the end of this one. And this will be the jump ring that the lobster clasp connects with. So here we go. All right. Make that nice and snug. Okay, so we have this side of the chain that's done. And we'll go ahead and connect the other side of the chain. So connect one of the chain links. And for those that are trying to make this, if you got the Bargain Bead Box and you're looking for ideas and you agree with this one, you think it looks good, I'll go ahead and let you know. I used exactly 39 links in this chain when I measured it out on the bead board to make sure that it would look correct and kind of fall correctly when you wear it. So if you want to count out, each section of chain is exactly 39 links. And I can bring my ruler back. So 39 links is approximately, if we start at the 5, it's about 3.5 inches in chain. 3.5 inches for each section of chain that I have. Close that jump ring, and then, well, close it. There we go. Went to the next step before I finish this one. All right, and then for the opposite end of this chain, this is the jump ring we're going to connect the lobster clasp to. So we have the other end of the chain. There we go. And then the lobster clasp. And the lobster clasp I had in my own stash. The only closures that came with the bead box were the toggle clasps. And for necklaces, I prefer, well, I guess it depends. I've used toggle clasps as well, but I feel like this necklace would kind of favor a lobster clasp. So now, go ahead and connect the back. All right, so there's the chain. And now we will connect the chain to the focal piece. Ah, got the beads and stuff on there to weigh it down a little bit. So there we go. And we'll connect this side. right. And here is our finished piece. So I know it can be kind of difficult to see here, but I will go ahead and put it on the bust that I have, and that way it will kind of lay out a little bit clearer to see. Alrighty. All right. So here is the finished piece. Now, I do want to clarify something really quick. Make sure that's as clear as it can be. There we go. I do want to clarify something really quick. I shortened the chain at the bottom. So I didn't change the design in it. The back part of each chain on each side is 39 links. But I changed the front ones, the bottom ones, because when I put them on here originally, it didn't look right. The bottom part being so big, it didn't hang the right way. So I shortened it, and for those that are kind of following this tutorial and making it, I have about 19 links is what I shortened it. I said before that they were all 39, but now my finished product here, I have 19 at the bottom links on each side, and then 39 on each side in the back. So I am very, very happy with how this came out. I think it looks awesome. I think the embellishments in the chain go really well. It all flows, it matches. I think it looks absolutely amazing. If you enjoyed this, and you are looking for more tutorials like this, you know, with the bargain bead boxes, or just pretty much anything that, you know, my mind can come up with, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and, you know, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. All right, thank you.